And I can confirm before the South Africans today that the judiciary, politicians who are currently serving in Parliament, the members of the South African Police Service, the Metro Police, prosecutors in Gauteng are controlled by the drug cartel as well as business people in that province of Gauteng. This act undermines the criminal justice system in this country.
Comrades, this might be our most important video ever, and if we're lucky, maybe we will also get raided by the Hawks.
In my business, when the crooks, the cops, and the politicians share our WhatsApp group, we call that family.
At his bombshell press conference in July, and now at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, KZN's Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, has spilled more tea than SA's rooibos cartel sells in a year, and he has the receipts.
It is the evidence that we've collected that proves the linkages between the syndicates and the minister himself.
A good criminal never leaves the paper trail. These amateurs.
And speaking of cartels, if you, like me, have been wondering why South African politicians never go to jail,
where are the orange overalls?
his claim that top police officials, politicians, and criminal syndicates are in the same WhatsApp group is the closest to an answer we've ever gotten.
Exactly, because in this country, having a criminal record stops you from getting a job at Pick and Pay, but not from being a government minister.
The last time a judge asked me to sit, he made me sit for 10 years.
I thought it was part of the job description.
We have to ask, who's really running South Africa? Politicians or criminals?
Or as Coolio would say, are we living in a gangster's paradise? Let's get away. Comrades, like any good crime gang doing a heist, we have a plan for this episode.
First, we'll look at what a mafia state is, how you measure it, and how we got here.
Next, we'll dive into the Mkhwanazi Claims to see how we stack up.
Finally, we'll consider the rays of hope and some solutions.
Nice, Zoe. We're almost as organized as a Gauteng drug cartel. Hit us with the definition.
Public corruption is when politicians use power for personal gain. Kleptocracy is when the elite loot the country, but a mafia state is when the government itself becomes a full-blown criminal enterprise.
So how do we know South Africa is one?
Well, according to the 2023 Organised Crime Index, South Africa ranks 7th worst in the world.
7th? Well, at least we're still Rugby World Cup champions.
Organised crime in South Africa might be at an all-time high in 2025, but it didn't start yesterday. In 2009, the ANC used their majority in parliament to disband the Scorpions, which was very good at fighting corruption. In 2010, SA's police chief, Jackie Selebi, was convicted for taking bribes from drug smugglers. In 2011, the ANC's flag was draped over Cape Underworld boss Cyril Beaker's coffin. And in 2015, a gangster described President Zuma as "Die ou Bali is net so nice soos ons."
I'm jealous. I wanted to say that line. But I thought we were turning things around under Cyril Ramaphosa's new dawn. What happened?
The Zondo Commission unearthed mountains of evidence of state capture during Jacob Zuma's presidency. But the Guptas fled SA and no one has gone to jail. Since Cupcake came to power, corruption appears to have continued with still no arrests.
True.
And the police are also in crisis. Get this, all of these top brass have been suspended or have a serious allegation against them. Some of those are people implicated by the top dog in the police in KwaZulu-Natal, General Mkhwanazi.
And I can confirm that the judiciary, politicians, members of the South African Police Service, prosecutors are controlled by the syndicate.
Oh shit, he wasn't supposed to say that on camera. Imagine being a politician watching that on TV like,
I cannot believe my eyes.
President Ramaphosa was forced to respond and set up a...
Let me guess, a commission of inquiry. That will show them.
It's the dramatic Zondo Commission sequel we never knew we needed.
I want to demonstrate that the criminal justice system has been subject to a continuous threat as well as sabotage.
He names the now suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu and Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Detection Shadrack Sibia, also now suspended, of playing a key role in this interference. He also linked Mchunu Mkhwanazi to a guy called Brown Mkhwanazi, a businessman with ties to an alleged gangster called Vusimuzi Cat Mkhwanazi. Mkhwanazi scored a 360 million rand police contract, but it's since been terminated. Mkhwanazi also said that Mkhwanazi was financially supporting Mkhwanazi's political endeavors.
There's so many players involved here. The string needed to join the dots could stretch from Durban to Cape Town.
Back in March, Mkhwanazi pretended like he didn't know Brown Mkhwanazi from a bar of soap.
I don't know this person.
I don't know who this man is.
But when he got slapped with receipts, he flip-flopped.
Not an associate, just a comrade. It might not be above Dove, just life, boy, but it's still above soap.
Mkhwanazi's close ties to Mkhwanazi aren't a good look for President Cyril Ramaphosa either, because Mkhwanazi campaigned for Cupcake in his 2017 ANC presidential election bid. And so did Mkhwanazi. Ex-Police Minister Bheki Cele, appointed by Ramaphosa, I might add, was also linked to Mkhwanazi. Apparently, Cele tried to call him 10 times before he was arrested.
10 times? Even my mother doesn't call me that much when I forget her birthday. So is Cupcake also involved in all of this?
There's no direct link, and remember, these are all just allegations at this point, but here's where things get extra sus. A flashy Gauteng businessman called Hangwani Morgan Maumela has recently been revealed to have links to Mkhwanazi, Mkhwanazi, and ex-police minister Cele. The three of them were caught using his Zimbabwe home, for example. Maumela is known as the Tembisa Don because he is alleged to have scored 415 million rands worth of medical supply contracts from the Tembisa hospital.
Now there's an offer you can't refuse.
But here's the interesting part. Maumela is Cyril Ramaphosa's nephew from his first marriage. Although Cupcake also seems to be suffering memory loss.
No, you keep saying my nephew. I don't even know this gentleman.
Sorry to this man.
Rule number 1, you never mix the business and the family, unless you are South African. Then is mandatory.
It turns out that Mkhwanazi had stumbled onto ballistic evidence, a smoking gun, you might say, that ties several high-profile murders to Mkhwanazi. The same Mkhwanazi that benefited, like Maumela, from some dodgy tenders at Tembisa Hospital.
This name keeps coming up over and over again.
Babita Deokaran was a whistleblower on corruption at the hospital.
And now, she's sleeping with the fishes.
Her assassins have gone to jail, but not the masterminds behind her death. Another was top cop Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, who was poisoned while investigating PPE tender fraud in 2021. The murder scene was cleaned, and he was said to have died of COVID by the police, until his family insisted on having him exhumed and a toxicology report done.
Nothing personal, just business.
Corruption is widespread in South Africa. We are in a terrifying state right now in terms of assassinations in this country.
When journalists are scared and whistleblowers and crime fighters are killed, we have a first clear sign South Africa could be a mafia state. Check out our video to learn more about how we can protect whistleblowers.
But Zoe, how can we trust Mkhwanazi's allegations are true?
Mkhwanazi has a long and pretty good track record in the police, with a lot of people vouching for him over the years.
He's someone with good integrity.
Our hero for this week is the acting police commissioner, General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
But not everyone is convinced.
Mkhwanazi pulled the stunt. Because this is a stunt. He is a police officer. He has the power to arrest, to charge, and so on. He chose to make this a political issue.
We have to remember that there are factional battles playing out at the highest levels of power, and there will be plenty of mud thrown around.
Before the press conference, we must remember that a lot of senior crime intelligence people were arrested. It was interesting. Mkhwanazi, the way that he communicated actually sounded like he was coming up for them or defending them somehow. So that paints the picture of a bigger fight.
It seems like maybe Mkhwanazi had no choice but to go public just in case his head might be next on the chopping block. See?
Only time will tell. But if his allegations hold up, we have another very strong indicator that South Africa is a mafia state. A lot of close ties between organized crime and government. Another sign of living in a mafia state is when the lines between the formal and informal economies start blurring.
If I go out, right, and I pay for a meal,
If this place is being extorted, you don't know where that money goes. You don't know if that money is paying someone pretending or purporting to provide security. You don't know if you're paying an extortionist.
Like in 2015, when the doorman at Beer House pub on Long Street in Cape Town was killed when the owner refused to pay a protection racket.
I called out Mark Leafman for the murder of my doorman Joe. If you operate in the nightlife as a bar or as a club in Cape Town, you have to pay up. Consumers need to be aware.
We don't realize how interconnected it all is, how a murder in what is known as a historical gang hotspot is actually linked to what's happening in the city centre, which is linked to a government office, etc.
Formal and illicit economies increasingly blurred? Check. That's our third clear sign of living in a mafia state.
Comrades, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Things are bad, But there are still some raisnyana of hope.
We might have one of the world's worst ratings on the Organised Crime Index for criminality, but on the flip side, we do have quite a strong resilience score as well, with strong media freedom, civil society, and a relatively intact judicial system.
I would say hold my beer, but Beer House is closed down.
There's more good news. Now that the missing case files have been returned to the Political Killings Task Team, they've already started making arrests. The MPA's asset forfeiture unit just seized more than 325 million rands worth of Morgan Mamela's looted assets. And Vusimuzi Kat Mklala was arrested for allegedly attempting to kill his ex-girlfriend.
So maybe the cat doesn't have 9 lives after all,
And finally, there are thousands of hardworking, ethical South Africans in government, the police and crime-fighting bodies like the Special Investigating Unit, who are making a positive difference. But most of all, I'm here for the SIU's Instagram page admin, who drops bangers with every post.
South Africans will never be defeated.
So much damage was done in such a short time. It's easy to just break down a wall. Once you want to put up a wall, it's a completely different process. So the damage is quick to happen. The fixing it is a very long-term process.
The fact that we can debate this and the fact that we can consider, are we in a mafia state, without you sitting here and saying, we are in a mafia state, like that is still good. I write about policing often and I focus on different aspects of policing. As much as there is bad, there is very good. There are honest, decent people who are putting their lives on the line, and we won't ever get to hear about them in public.
Comrades, associates, and forgotten nephews, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you didn't, nothing personal, just business.
Remember, my comrades, loyalty is everything until somebody offers you a tender.
All we can do now is keep watching the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry and Parliament's ad hoc committee looking into Mkhwanazi's allegations to see what happens next.
We hope you like, share, and subscribe. If you don't, talk to your mother. See you next week.
At his bombshell press conference,
being on
at his bombshell, is that right? I'm there, but it's the M before that's messing me up.
Man who doesn't spend time with his family.
Sorry, the dog fell, yeah. Restart.